Good afternoon. This is Kevin Fitzpatrick, and we're going to do something a little differently with this podcast. And I want to reach directly out to those of you who have been affected by job transition or job loss based on some of the actions that are being taken out of Washington, D.C., and then trickling down, affecting all of us across the world and across this, in this case, the state of Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware, or however far we're able to reach at this point. And I don't want to focus on what we do. What I want to focus on is you. Many of you are faced with the inevitable position of unexpectedly losing your job, perhaps a career you have been in for multiple years, even decades. And you're faced with the inevitable question, of what's next? What do I do now? Oh my goodness, I've got a family to take care of. And the most difficult thing in addressing that is really figuring out, what do I do next? And what will it take to achieve my ultimate career goal, or even get to my next opportunity, which perhaps I never even thought I might have to look for. And the reality is, we have some tools available to you at no cost that you can tap into our website and download and use at your leisure. And I'm offering that to you because I want to focus on a couple of things. Those tools we want to offer to you are, in order to be successful, and I've talked about this in some prior podcasts over the last 7 years, is really about getting in touch with your personal product. I'll tell you a story. One of my favorite people in history is Abraham Lincoln. And there's a lot of pluses and negatives about Lincoln if you think about it. He was kind of a moody guy, not always up and up, but often very cerebral. And one of the things that he said, which I've come to appreciate, which I've tried to impart with my 4 daughters, or I try and actually remember if I find myself in an untenable situation or dealing with someone who has taken an action or tried to take an action that is against me and potentially is negative with regard to impact on myself and my family, which of course is frankly unacceptable, especially when it comes to our family. And that statement that Lincoln said was, I don't like this person very much. I need to get to know them better. Now I want to take that beyond the obvious and say, look in the mirror and say, I don't like this person I'm seeing very much. I need to get to know them better. And what that means is really looking into what you've done, how you've done it, what's the impact, what kind of passion have you put in that, regardless of what role you have had. And zero in on that and identify the what, when, where, why, and how, and then do it again and again so you can really dig down. So next time you look in the mirror, you can say, I know who I am. I know what my product is. I know the value I can bring. Not just the value I brought that perhaps has gone unrecognized for one reason or another in my prior role, but the value I can bring to that next opportunity that I'm going to go after, that I'm going to now be in a position of presenting exactly who I am so that I know I like who I am. I like the story I'm bringing. I like the potential I have. I like the passion I bring to an opportunity. And if you hire me, I can and I will make the difference for your organization, regardless of what you did in the past. It's all about what you can pull from the past and take it forward to present the better future and identify the right opportunity for you and deliver fantastic results to your next employer. It doesn't matter if the vertical you were in or the market you were in is completely unrelated. You've developed a set of skills, deep capabilities that all too often we take for granted. But now the challenge is placed upon you. You're in a job change. You're in transition. You are now in the worst job you have ever had, and that is looking for another job. Let's face it, it's not a great place to be, especially when the pressure's on us on What are the costs going to be? How am I going to take care of the kids? I have my bills to pay. I have their education to look after. I've got to set the right perspective for my family. I've got to take care of the people I care about. And I want to help my friends. And in order to do that, you need to help yourself. And to do that, download your personal product development white paper off of our website. Take it, use it, take it all the way down and make it your document. Learn from it and jump forward from that to then look at your resume. How do I create a resume, you might ask, if I've been in a government job for the last 20 years? Well, then you go back and you focus on the who, what, when, where, why, and how. And you identify the skills and the capabilities that you have honed over those years, the results and the return that you have been able to deliver, be it qualitative or quantitative. And you be prepared to articulate that to a certain level in your resume, and then again in the interview process. But in doing so, go back to that Lincoln statement. I don't like that person very much. I need to get to know them better. Part of that process of getting real with that so that each of us can use that to move forward to the next stage in our career is also getting real with the things that maybe you didn't do well. Maybe you need to learn from. Maybe you need to step up and address that challenge now so that having the ability and demonstrating the ability to address that challenge makes it not a weakness, not a development need, but an asset, because you are presenting that you are in fact a critical thinker. You do identify everything you did well. You also are very much in touch with, for want of a better term, the good, the bad, and the ugly of things in our career. We all have them. And by recognizing them and really owning them, and I mean owning them, so that you can do something about it, gives you the ability to leverage that to your advantage in the interview process and dialogue. But in order to get there, my challenge to you is take what you've learned from personal product development. Take from what you've learned from that introspection that we're tying back to Abraham Lincoln, and look at your resume and create it as a piece of marketing collateral. Kind of break the paradigm that your resume is a list of job duties that you've had. Who cares? It's not about that. Your resume is about identifying what differentiates you from everybody else. It's highlighting the skills and capabilities in such a manner that you're going to grab someone's attention, that you're going to get that interview. Because let's face it, others may disagree with me, but I firmly believe the only purpose for the resume is to get the interview. And if you're in touch with your product and you transfer that knowledge and that positive forethought to what you've done into your resume, it will become your sales document. It will absolutely open other people's eyes. It will give them insight into who you are. And if you do it right, it's going to be able to deliver where your return on investment can be for that organization, regardless of what job you're coming from. Focus on, what job am I looking for? What job am I trying to get? Yes, I need to get employment. I get that. Yes, I need to get a paycheck. I've got to take care of my family. Agree with you 1,000%. But take the time to go through and identify your product. Create your sales document, that every line in that resume is not a job description, but can demonstrate either quantifiably or qualitatively the benefit you can bring or have brought, not only from your former employer, but that will carry forth and can be transferred to the next opportunity. That's what's going to make a difference for you. There's a guide called Your Resume as a Sales Document. It's also on our website. Download it, use it to your advantage. Other people that have used these docs have benefited from them. They can be rather intrusive. If you really embrace these tools, frankly, they can be somewhat humiliating. And it goes back to, and I've mentioned this before, one of the things I told one of my grandsons who was talking about things, I said, always be very careful to know who you are. Understand the things you do well. Understand your limitations. when you go forward and you want to prepare for an interview, when you want to prepare that resume, and you're going to talk about who you are, that's your opportunity to shine, to brag a little bit and say, these are the accomplishments I've delivered. This is the ROI I've delivered for my prior employer. Whether it is a government agency that's been affected by these changes that are coming down day after day and affecting many of us, or not affecting us, affecting our neighbor. And if it's not affecting you, but affecting your neighbor, reach out, give them that insight. But in preparing, preparing for the interview, or preparing your sales document, your resume, be careful and remember the following thing. It is always great to be underestimated than humiliated. So make sure in that resume, you're putting the hook in there. You're generating the interest. Gee, I see what John has done, or Sally has done, or Kevin has done, or Ross has done. I want to learn more. I want to get to know that person better, as Lincoln stated. And let your resume open that door for you. And let the prep you did by going through your personal product development, by knowing who you are, again, the pluses, being able to respond to the good and bad and the ugly, and turning that around as an asset, be the differentiator for you as you're pursuing the next opportunity. We're here to help. If this is helpful, great. Again, feel free to go to our website and download the docs. And we wish you the very best. If you have any questions, give me a ring. Thank you.